Hello YouTube, this is the Dbtgamer Show, episode 193, and today I'm going to review 007, Everything or Nothing, for the PS2, GameCube and original Xbox. Let's see if this game gives me everything I want in a James Bond game, or nothing at all. Okay, that's my PS2 setup, so let's start the review. Now, 007, Everything or Nothing is a very good third-person shooter. It's my most favourite James Bond games of all time. I've played several James Bond games throughout my life. I've played Nightfire, Agent Under Fire, the awesome GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, the shitty GoldenEye for the PS3, and the Wii, and the Xbox. Ugh. And I've also played The World Is Not Enough for the Nintendo 64. This is one of my favourite James Bond games that I've ever played, so let's start this review. First, let's start with the story for this game. The story for this game, it's really good, although it's a little bit funny and a little bit insane. At the beginning of the game, you play as James Bond. In this game, he's portrayed by the actor known as Pierce Brosnan, my favourite James Bond actor of all time. You go on this mission and you rescue a scientist. The scientist is called Keita Nevada. This scientist, she specialises in nanotechnology. And after you've rescued her, you go out for dinner and that sort of thing. The usual thing that James Bond does to women. And later in the game, you're doing this is one of my favourite songs of the game. This song is called Everything or Nothing. This is the theme song for the game. I like the way that they did a music video for the game, so it was more like a James Bond movie as well as a game. Later on in the game, you have to pick up a mission from a person called 003. A person 003 has been assigned a mission, and you go to his you go to find him, and he's been kidnapped. So eventually, after going through a few levels, you find 003. And sadly, 003 gets, as far as I can remember, he gets killed. Which was rather annoying. I kind of like the character. And soon after 003 gets killed, the scientist called Keita Nevada, she gets confronted by a man called Nikolai Vavlo, is the main villain for the game, and he convinces Mr. Nevada to reprogram the nanobots and turn them into nanobots that could do evil things. And his plan is to program the nanobots so that they eat any material apart from platinum, which is a pretty good plan, I suppose. And his next part of his plan is to get these nanobots to England and use them to destroy England, because they can eat every thing in England that's not made of platinum and somehow take over the world this way. And throughout the game, you play as James Bond and you do certain things to stop him. Example, there's like a level where you have to blow up a giant tanker lorry sort of thing filled with nanobots that's trying to get to a certain city. There's one point of the game where you have to stop some missiles from from being sent to London, so they got and that sort of thing. Throughout the game, there are several characters from the movie that appear. I'll talk about them as the review goes on. But all in all, I thought the story was really good. I thought the nanobot idea was pretty funny. And I also liked the idea of a scientist who was good deciding to become an evil sort of person and wanted to take over the world along with this other guy. Multiplayer of the game. The multiplayer of the game is pretty good. There's a 2-player co-op mode where you can do several missions. You can race who can complete the level first. The second mode is Scramble, where you can see who gets the best score in a mission. Or there's the regular 2 to 4 player deathmatch stuff, like in any third-person shooter. I haven't played in the multiplayer, but from what I've seen from trailers and a few online YouTube videos, it looks good. It looks good. Let's hop into a level and talk about controls. Let's see, which one should I pick? Throughout the game, there are 29 levels. I'll go for this one because I played it last night. This one will do. Okay, controls for the game. The controls are very good. I'll explain the controls as I go through the review for each control type. Because throughout the game you have to drive vehicles, and the controls are different for each vehicle and that sort of thing. When you play as a person, L2 makes you crouch up and down. Hold L1 and press R1 to shoot your enemies. One moment. Let me just get rid of bugger bugs over here. Yeah, whatever, dude. Left analog stick moves you around, obviously. The right analog stick, if you look on TV, you can sort of move your cursor around and aim at different body parts so you can kill enemies more easier. Circle button rolls so you can get out of the way of enemies and attacks. X button reloads. Triangle button puts away your gun so you can use your melee attacks. Square punches with your left hand. Triangle punches with your right hand. If you press the square and triangle buttons in a certain combination, you can do certain special moves. Start button brings up your pause menu. Select button turns on your thermo vision. If you press your left button on your D-pad, you go into what I like to call Bond mode. In Bond mode, it's sort of like pause to the game. It lets you change your weapons, which is pretty useful, I think. You can also scroll through your gadgets and all that sort of stuff. If you press up, you can change through your gadgets and that sort of thing. If you press down, you can also change through weapons. And that's the controls of the game when you're playing as Bond on the in the shooting missions. Overall, I think the controls work really well. There are very few faults I can think of. The only fault I can think of is quite an important one, though. The L button, which is used to target your enemies and also lock onto your enemies. This button is also mapped to switching targets, and this can be a little bit of a problem because sometimes if you want to switch targets, it doesn't always do it. So having a button do 2 jobs can be somewhat of a problem. But other than that, the controls are perfect and there's nothing else wrong with them. I'm just going to knock this guy out, my punches. Music for this game. The music for this game is absolutely brilliant. It's got one of the best James Bond soundtracks I've listened to in a while. Oopsie, I'm just... Give me a moment, guys. I'm just going to get rid of these guards. They're starting to annoy me. I can't concentrate. There we go. And you found that the game was the voice acting. Pierce Brosnan does an excellent job of James Bond. M is played by Judi Dench, and she does a really nice job. Q is played by John Cleese, although these days Q is dead, and I'm kind of annoyed that he's not in any more James Bond films, but he does a very good job in this role as Q in this game. Richard Kiel plays Jaws. Yes, George in this game. He's an assassin that's been hired by Mr. DeVito to assassinate James Bond and help DeVito with his evil plans to unleash nanobots on the world and destroy cities and stuff. There are some other casting members, and all the other cast do a pretty good job of their voice acting, and they portray the characters really well. Gameplay of this game. The gameplay of this game is really good. It's a third-person shooter, and it's really well done. Let's turn my thermal vision on here so I can see the enemies. At the moment it's dark on this train. Another thing I like about the gameplay about the driving missions. The driving missions are quite a lot of fun. It's really fun to drive all Bond's awesome cars that you can drive. A Porsche and an Aston Martin in this game, which is pretty cool. The Bond cars, of course, they come with all their little fun toys like machine guns, missile launchers, oil slicks, smoke, you know, all the stuff you'd expect James Bond to have in his car. There's also one level where you get to control a helicopter, which was quite a lot of fun. But my favourite driving mission has to be kind of a ridiculous one, but you're driving through a city in, brace yourself, that's one, a tank made of platinum. That's right, a tank that's made of solid platinum. That's got to be one of the most blingiest vehicle ideas I've heard of in a long time.
I don't suppose we could just talk about this.
Hey, put me down! Whoa! Ow, my face.
I guess not.
Hello, Jaws. That's one of the bosses of the game, YouTube, that's Jaws. Right, I'm going to try and fight Jaws in this Gustavus game. The Gustavus game, the story is really good. I really liked the cutscenes. The game designer did an excellent job making this game feel like a movie as well as a game. Another thing I really liked about the game was all the different missions. There are 27 missions in all, so there's plenty of stuff to play, plenty of missions to play through. Another thing I really liked about the extra missions throughout the game, if you get a good grade in certain missions, you can unlock more missions and that sort of thing. Another thing I really liked were the interludes. They explain bits of the plot, and they're done really well. And they also introduce They also introduced new gadgets that Bond can use throughout the game. Eat electricity, Jaws! Shocking, isn't it? Bye bye! And your favourite game were the gadgets throughout the game. You get several gadgets to use to your advantage. You got all the fun little toys like Bond has in his cars. You've got the machine guns, rocket launchers, smoke pellets, oil slicks, that sort of thing. And also, you've got your gadgets that you can use whilst you're playing as in the third-person missions. You've got the regular you've got a grappling gun so you can get up to high buildings. You've got this little tiny spider robot thing, which I absolutely love. It's kind of like that little robot from Metal Gear Solid 4. Now, I'm going to talk about the helicopter controls now. Left and on stick moves it around. Right on stick moves it forward and backwards. R button fires. R2 changes your weapons. That's all there is to it, really. L2 doesn't really do anything. L1 can also fire weapons. S button makes you speed up so you can get past things. Whoa. Oh yeah, L1's flare so you can shit missiles. Whoa. Other goes about the game. One thing I really liked is the all the different types of missions throughout the game. There are several missions to choose from, and the game keeps the mission variety very high, so it's very difficult to get bored. This is one of my favourite missions, the helicopter mission. I just love driving a helicopter and blowing things up. It reminds me of my youth when I used to play Desert Strike and Jungle Strike on the old Mega Drive. Ah, those were the days. I didn't have to worry about work and stuff. You feel like the game or the map. The top left-hand corner, you've got a mini-map. You press the select button, you can make this map bigger so you can see where you need to go. That's a really useful thing. It was very useful when I was playing the drive missions and trying to figure out where to go and figure out different routes. Later in the review, I will show off a car mission. Easy does it, David. Don't crash the helicopter. And your favourite game was the mission difficulties. It gives the game a lot more replay value for it. Throughout the game, there are 4 difficulties to choose from. There's Operative, Agent, and Double O Agent. And once you beat Double O Agent, you can actually go for a very high score. And if you manage to get what you call Platinum high score, you can unlock a cheat for the level and like infinite ammo, that sort of thing. Yeah, whatever. I've been flying R-Wings since I was a very young kid. I'm pretty sure I can handle a helicopter. Throughout the game, there's a little thing I like to call Bond moments. Bond moments are one of my favourite things about this game, because what you need to do in Bond moments is throughout the game, there are opportunities to do certain things in the game that only Bond can do. Example, drive a car really fast off a ramp and jump onto a bridge. Or you can walk into a hotel and walk up to a woman and give her a back rub. That is one of the more weird Bond moments, in my personal opinion. And these Bond moments, if you manage to get a lot of them in the game, you can score extra points at the end of the level, and you can unlock more stuff this way. And the Bond moments are quite fun to do because of all the funny things that you can do just because you're James Bond. Right, I'm going to try and destroy his helicopter now. I ran out of missiles there, so I had to use the bombs. And the other thing I really liked about the game, all the different vehicles. It was really fun to drive an Aston Martin. That is one of my favourite cars in real life, so it was quite fun to have the experience of driving a virtual version of it. And the other thing I really liked was driving the Porsche. The Porsche wasn't really as good as the Aston Martin in my opinion. I didn't really like it as much. Get a room, you two! One vehicle that I was not very fond of was the motorbike. There's one mission in the game where you have to use this motorbike to chase after this truck, and you use the truck to you have to chase the truck. Once you chase down the truck, you blow it up with the motorbike. After you blow up the truck, you got rid of most of the nanowatts. The motorbike itself, it isn't one of my favourite vehicles because I'm not really fond of bikes in general. I never really liked them in Mario Kart, and it was a bit difficult for me to turn, and it didn't have as much ammo in the weapons because it's just a smaller vehicle. Controlling the helicopter was pretty fun. Excuse me. And a vehicle that was a lot of fun to play as was the awesome Platinum Tank. Controlling the Platinum Tank was a lot of fun because just the idea of driving a vehicle made out of a precious metal, and it also pays homage to the excellent version of GoldenEye made by Rareware on the Nintendo 64. Right, I'm going to find a car mission now on YouTube and show a bit of car gameplay. I won't save it. Right, let's see if we can find a decent car mission. One moment. Yeah, this one's a good one. The train chase. This car mission, from what I remember, you get to use the Porsche. I won't bother showing off the Aston Martin because they're pretty much the same, apart from a few. Apart from they look different, and also they have a few different gadgets. The Aston Martin can actually turn invisible, which is pretty cool. I think the Porsche can do it as well. Skip cutscenes, press the X button. In some missions, you may have to use several different things. You may have to play in third-person mode and use Bond, or you may have to also use a car as well. I really like this idea because it gave the game some variety in the missions. It was really good. Car controls. X button accelerates. Square button brakes. Circle button doesn't seem to do much. R2 switches weapons. R1 fires weapons. You've got missiles and machine guns. L1's your gadgets. L2 can view behind, so you can take out targets behind you if you need to. Up and down on the D-pad does nothing. Left and right can also change weapons if you want to do that. And right now there's nothing. Alright, let's go get him. Whoa, bad driving, David. I'm gonna take a shortcut here through this ancient Egyptian tomb. Sorry, Pharaohs, I will do my best not to deface the architecture. That 007 symbol means I just got a Bond moment. Your health bar for the game is displayed at the bottom left hand corner of the screen, that little green 007 symbol. When you're playing as regular Bond and not in a vehicle, there'll be a little battery meter for your gadgets, which you'll need to keep as high as possible so you can use your gadgets. Alright, let's go get this train.
Get underneath the train. You should be able to climb up from there.
Right, YouTube, that's enough gameplay. I've shown off pretty much everything I wanted to show off in the review. Next we'll go on to my complaints. Okay, my complaints about 007 Everything or Nothing for the PS2, Xbox and GameCube. I don't really have that much to complain about. 007 Everything or Nothing is one of the best James Bond games I've ever played, period. In some ways it's even better than the N64 classic GoldenEye, which is very surprising because in my youth I pretty much thought it can't get any better than GoldenEye because it was such a good game and I had played it so much. But when I played Everything or Nothing, I found myself thinking that this one's either equally as good as GoldenEye or in some ways superior. In one way that it's superior is that it has a map which makes a lot of the levels easier to navigate. Anyway, I've looked through the entire game and I've played through all the missions, and I have noticed one thing that I can complain about. I mentioned this in the review a few moments ago when I was talking about the controls. The complaint I have, the button which you use to target your enemy is also the same button which you use to switch targets, and this can be rather annoying because throughout the game you may want to switch targets and cycle through your enemies, and if you're trying to lock onto an enemy and shoot him and then quickly switch to a new enemy, it doesn't always work. I really wish they'd changed the controls a little bit so that you could switch targets a lot easier and take on multiple enemies a lot better. But other than that, 007 Everything or Nothing is a really, really good James Bond game. It's one of the best James Bond games I've ever played. And I would definitely recommend it if you're a fan of third-person shooters and if you're a fan of James Bond. My rating for this game is a 4 out of 5. My next review will be The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Until then, YouTube, bye!